Back in 2012, that small handful of us original EOS M users had one shining ray of hope, and it was this, the Canon 22mm f2.0. See, at that point, there was basically an 18 to 55mm kit lens, a 55 to 200mm kit zoom, and Canon offering us the very helpful solution of, hey man, just adapt all your EF lenses. See, this lens really was the lens, and it didn't disappoint. In terms of photography, the Canon 22mm f2.0, it's roughly a 35mm full frame equivalent. It's a good general purpose lens. It's one of those lenses too that kind of adds to that whole notion of Canon colors. You know, it's a really punchy, sharp, contrasty lens. There's a lot of good saturation. We'll notice though, there's a decent amount of vignetting in the corners when you're shooting wide open, but you know, that's an easy fix in post. Overall, it's a good general purpose lens for photography. In terms of video, there is no image stabilization on this lens. That may or may not be an issue for you, just depending on which M-series camera you're using. If you're using one of the more modern ones that have in-body image stabilization, then don't even think about it. If you're like me and you're using an older EOS M, then it does come into play every now and then. You know, there are certain shots that look a little bit better if you've got it like locked off on a tripod instead of just trying to do it handheld. And if you're looking at this lens for shallow depth of field, it's pretty good. You know, it's f2. It's not a bokeh master like something at f1.4 or f1.2. But overall, you know, it's definitely better looking than like anything that your kit lens is gonna do. Overall, the 22mm lens makes a nice addition to your kit, and it's so small and compact, it's easy to bring with you. You know, if you've just got like a kit lens and this, like that's a nice combination to work with. As far as vlogging goes with this lens, it's probably not wide enough. I mean, if you're using maybe like a tripod or even a selfie stick, you've got to like try to get it as far away from your face as possible, because otherwise if you're just doing this like handheld, it's just going to be a tight shot of your face like that. But it is workable, you know. I mean, I've tried it a few times just as an experiment, and it definitely can be done. You can totally vlog with this lens. It's just that's your main concern, is just getting it far enough away from your face. Overall, the Canon 22mm f2.0 is just a genuinely good lens. It's actually one of the best lenses Canon ever made for its EOS M line. In terms of who this lens is for, well, you actually need to ask yourself, what are you using it for? If you're looking for a lens for vlogging, the 22mm probably isn't quite wide enough. It's definitely workable, but nowadays you've got Sigma making lenses for this line too, so the Sigma 16mm f1.4 is just a much better choice for vlogging. In terms of like a general overall like everyday lens, this lens is absolutely amazing. You know, if you're looking at this lens for just YouTube in general, then yeah, this is a great choice. I mean, you're probably going to be filming on a tripod most of the time anyway, and it's easy to get this lens just far enough away so that your shot looks natural and normal. It's a great lens for that, great lens for photography, great lens for just general videography. Overall, I mean, just highly recommended. Anyway, I think that's all I've got for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.